Hey everybody, welcome back. If you're catching this episode the day that it comes out live, happy Thanksgiving. I wish you and your family all the best. This time of the year, there's a lot going on. Many of you, probably like me, have already had the first cold of the season, which kind of gets you out of your routine. And then you pile on top of it all the food that's going to be going around for the next couple months. Don't stress it. Give yourself that little bit of a break. Your body kind of maybe needs a reset. Just don't let it linger too long. So with that, let's get into round 47 of the tactical transition tips. This time the topic is optimize your health and performance. For the close range group, those of you looking at your transition right away to say maybe a year from now, mind map your ideal future. And for the medium range group, those of you looking at your transition in about 5 years or so, lean into your fitness. And for the long range group, those of you just starting your careers, your transition's not for at least a decade, biohack yourself.
When you transition out is try to model all of the good things, the discipline, the structure, that little bit of rigidity into your everyday life. And I think that that's a great way to make that transition happen, man.
Take the time to invest in yourself because it means everything. You know? That's what the difference is. The difference is not just to collect a check. It's to live 25 years, 30, 40 years after you retire and pay it forward that way.
Close range group, you need to mind map your ideal future. You've got a lot coming at you very rapidly. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of unknown. What's your transition going to actually be like? Regardless of how prepared you are for it, there's a bit of unknown of what it's actually going to be like when you get into it. What's your next job going to be like? How's your family going to adapt to your change in careers? All of these things bring stress on you. Compound that with, if you're not really sure where you want to end up, or you don't really know what's your exact future, you need to mind map it. Sounds like a fancy, touchy-feely term, but it's real simple. It's just a creative way to brainstorm what is your ideal future. What do you want for yourself transitioning from these careers? It allows you to identify actionable steps that you can take to achieve whatever your goals are, whatever dreams you have that you're setting out for yourself. The nice thing about it, though, is once you get a little bit of clarity, it pushes a little bit of that anxiety and that stress to the back seat. It doesn't completely eliminate it, but it definitely gives you something else to focus on instead of the unknown or the anxiety. Most importantly, it allows you to align your goals for what your future is with who you are and what your values are. So, how do you start this? Real simple. Find some time that you can really kind of sit down, maybe even be alone. Get a big sheet of paper. Right in the middle of that paper, write your future, literally my future, as the center of that piece of paper. From there, branch off of that future with things like your career, finances, your health and fitness, your family relationships, hobbies, anything that can kind of come to mind that you want to prepare for. Write it all down. Nothing is off limits at this point. Think big. Go grandiose. Things that you might even think, oh, I'm never going to be able to achieve that. Now's when you want to do it. Get it all on paper. Then take each of those branches and figure out what is actionable now and what is something long-term. So for instance, maybe your pie in the sky dream is living in a house on a beach in Hawaii. It might seem like that's just not possible. It may not be possible today. That doesn't mean that it's not possible in the future if you plan and prepare for it. Maybe what it might be is not purchasing a house, but maybe you rent an Airbnb for a month just to see if you like it. But what I'm getting at is don't restrict yourself right now. Go big. If you've got an idea for, hey, I want to own my own company that does X, put it down. That's your future career. It may not be your first transition point. It may take a couple iterations to get there, but right now you want to go as broad as possible. Don't be thinking refining it now. Right now is where you're shotgunning and you're putting some of the most wildest ideas out there. Once you get done with it, then bring in a second set of eyes. Could be your spouse, could be a mentor, could be a close friend. Have them take a look at it because they're going to identify maybe some of your blind spots. You're looking left, they're going to point out, hey, don't forget you're right. Maybe there's been something that you've told a close friend or a mentor that you've wanted to do, but for whatever reason, they remember that you said it, you're just not remembering at this moment. So again, but it's you're aiming to do the most wildest right now. Get it all down on paper. What are your concerns about finances? All of those things. How much money do you need for retirement? What's a comfortable life for you financially? Think about it all and write it all down on a piece of paper. Now, once you have everything, and this doesn't have to be perfect. Don't start over every time because you made a spelling mistake or you want to add something and you run out of room. This is literally just brainstorming. It's not, don't think of it like a school assignment where like you're going to have to hand this in. This is just notes for you. The other thing you're going to have to be a little uncomfortable with or get comfortable with is it's really going to cause you to look inside yourself and really define what is your future. I go back to don't limit yourself. Don't try to put realistic expectations on your dreams at this point. Put it all out there. You never know by writing this stuff down or with talking with that second set of eyes, there might be something that sparks that is a new career option or a new living option. Move to someplace new that you've always kind of thought about, but maybe never really discussed it. You don't know until you start putting it down on paper and really drawing it out of you and allowing yourself the freedom to dream and think big. Once you get it all done, that's when you can redefine or where you can pare it down. And this is where I'm talking about. If you have that lofty goal of becoming the CEO of a company, now's where you start making your actionable steps. Okay, maybe I'm not in a position right now to make that big of a leap. Maybe your first jump is getting a job that puts you at least in that same type of industry so you can start learning the industry better, whatever it is. If you're already familiar with that industry, maybe the first jump is let me start working with somebody who already owns their own company so I can start learning what it's like to be an owner, a CEO. Whatever it is, you're going to have the long range goals, but just break them down into short range goals. Finances. Hey, I need X number of dollars a month. Talk to a financial advisor. Where are you at right now? What's it going to take savings wise or getting rid of debt wise to get you into that comfortable spot? You may not be in a position for that financial stability right away, but don't simply say, oh, I need X, but I can't get there, and then just wipe it away. Make small actionable steps that will eventually get you to that goal. When it comes time to actually make your transition and go into your next job, one of the things that's real easy for you to do is get a clear idea of where is your future beyond just simply your transition. Where is your life going to be, or where would you like your life to be 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? And then is the first job that you go look for your long-term? Is it let me get on the ground floor or at the low end of a company and work my way up? Or is it, let me get this job, like I said, to learn a given industry with the idea that in 2 or 3 years, I am going to be making a move to the next phase of it, learning how to be a business owner or moving to a bigger company that still does the same thing. So you're giving yourself that map that helps you get to where those dreams are once you dial in exactly what you want out of your future. On the flip side, you can go into a company better prepared to know exactly what you need from them as a company. What are they going to provide you to help you get to your next goal? It's easy to say, oh, I'm just going to take whatever comes available to me. That might be an option for you. You might be forced into a situation where you just say, I have to take this job right now. Do what you got to do to take care of your family, but understand that it's just a temporary step-off point. I would say that you want to look for companies or entities that ultimately align best with who you are, what are your core values, and where do you want to get to in your life. And get a company that is going to give you the maximum benefit to you for the time that you're going to invest in them. I would say it's real easy to try to go after just whatever company is going to offer you the most amount of money. And granted, your finances may be a component of what are your future goals, but don't chase just the dollar. Look at what is ideal for you and your family. And if the company offers a little bit less than the other company, but it feeds or it fits better for who you are as an overall person, maybe consider taking a little bit less money. It's gonna depend on what you find available and what works best for you. What are you getting out of it? But think about yourself as much as how much you're thinking about the company. Get as much out of them as you're giving to them. This episode is brought to you by Trident Coffee, a veteran-owned brand and lifestyle. And while they're masters of cold brew, Trident's beans are roasted to create a flavor that shines whether you drink it hot or cold. There's no bitterness, there's no burnt taste, it's just good tasting coffee. Their coffees taste amazing hot, which is how I prefer it, while still designed to excel as a cold brew. But Trident Coffee is more than just great taste. Trident supports your wellness journey, featuring ingredients like organic mushrooms, adaptogens, and nootropics. It's made for those who enjoy good coffee and value quality and health. So if you're looking for a coffee that meets you wherever your day takes you, hot or cold, you need to check out Trident Coffee. I know I said I prefer hot coffee, but here's a tip from me. Mix their instant cold brew with your favorite protein for a protein coffee drink that's great cold. You can thank me later. I know there's a lot of coffee options out there, but give Trident a try. I know you'll enjoy it as much as I do. Head over to tridentcoffee.com and use the promo code TDP15 for 15% off your order. That's TDP15 for 15% off your order. Medium range group. You have to lean into your fitness. Right now, you've got a few years till you're transitioning. It's real easy. Maybe if you're 15, 20 years in, that maybe you've kind of let your fitness kind of take a step back or take a slide back. Don't allow yourself to get way off kilter. Hopefully, many of you have already kept a good fitness routine. And if that's the case, lean into it. Just keep going with it. But maybe you haven't. Maybe you've kind of let yourself slip a little bit and you know that you want to just make a little bit of an improvement. Start small. Make it a priority to just get back to being consistent first. You don't have to go out and run the marathon. You can go out and run 2 to 3 miles, but make it something small. Make it to where it becomes a new priority again in your life. Move it up the priority scale. I remember many years ago, a friend saying, who was an avid runner, and he would say to people, you'd think that probably running is the number one priority in my life. And it wasn't. It was just, it's a higher priority than just sitting on the couch or not running. So it doesn't have to be your number one priority in your life. Just move it back up on the priority scale. Ease back into it. ease back into getting into the gym. All of these things, do it slowly. You have to understand that in general, the more healthy you are, the more everything else is easier. Your stress is less. How you feel about yourself is better. How you are perceived by others is better. So make that a portion of your life and move it back up on the priority scale. You want to focus on reducing the stress and anxiety that is going to start coming at you over these next couple of years. And you can use your fitness and your health as a way to push that back. It's something to give you something to focus on, as opposed to not having that or adding another stress of, man, I'm coming to my transition. I don't know if my next job's going to offer me as good or quality insurance. What am I coming into my transition with as far as any ailments or anything like that? So start working on getting you and your health and your performance optimized over these next few years. If you're already somebody who's leaning on their fitness and you have a good routine going on, consider maybe taking on a new challenge, something in a physical fitness realm that you haven't done before. It just gives you that additional ego boost, that psychological boost that, man, I've been doing this for 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, but I've still got it in me to take on new challenges and I can accomplish it. It's going to really boost your self-confidence when you keep doing these things that challenge you, especially those of us older, that we're able to accomplish them, because we can then take that confidence of going, man, I'm not only doing stuff that most people aren't doing today, I'm doing stuff people my age can't even do. So build that self-confidence in by continuing to push your fitness level. When you come to your transition and you start moving into that next phase, you're looking to get that next job. Obviously, I've already mentioned the stress reduction of taking care of yourself, but there's the ancillary benefit of you present yourself better than the next person coming in. If you look squared away, I would say that the one thing we always talk about is command presence, and how you look to people is the first thing that they are judging you on. So if you can walk through the door and look good, even if the position doesn't require any type of command presence or command bearing, you're still going to be better than the next candidate who's trying to get that job. What do you present to the person interviewing you? How do they remember you? Oh, that person's squared away. They look sharp. They look good in their clothes. There was a confidence in them based on how they felt about themselves. That's going to come across regardless of anything you say or anything else you do. When you walk through that door, what appearance do you give them? You're going to perform your job better now, the next 3 years, 5 years, 6 years, whatever it is. You're going to be in a better place to do a better job now, which is going to give you more confidence, more people are going to look at you as somebody who's a leader, even if you're not in necessarily a leadership position, by how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. But the biggest benefit to you is going to be making that transition. Your presence is your first layer of success. Make sure you have it dialed in and you're walking through that door confident and presenting yourself well. You ever feel like your body just isn't keeping up the way it used to? We all know that life doesn't slow down, and sometimes the grind shows up in ways that we might not expect. Lower energy, focus that's a little off, maybe even motivation that isn't quite there. Human Performance TRT knows what it's like to want to get that edge back, and they're here to help you do it without the runaround. A veteran and first responder-owned company, they're not just your typical telehealth service that just hands out prescriptions. Human Performance takes a full view of your health. First, you hop on a video call with one of their expert providers who goes through your goals, your blood work, and any specific needs you've got. From there, they create a personalized plan that goes beyond just hormones. If you need support with mental health, they've got it. If you're looking to get serious about weight management, they can coach you through it. The best part, they keep it flexible. No locked-in subscriptions. As you progress, they're checking in, making adjustments, and keeping your health plan up to date. Because what works today might look different down the line. Everything they do is sent right to your door, hassle-free, so you can stay focused on the things that matter. And here's another benefit. If you're already on a hormone replacement program or have recent blood work, Human Performance makes it easy to transition. If your lab results are less than 6 months old, you could submit those directly. No need for new blood work. They'll review your current levels and build a customized plan based on where you're at now, so you don't have to start from scratch. It's just another way that Human Performance puts you first, meeting you where you're at on your health journey. Human Performance TRT is built around your success. This isn't a one-and-done approach. It's ongoing with real guidance because your health deserves more than just a quick fix. If you're ready to take the next step towards optimized health, check out Human Performance and see what a real personalized approach looks like. And for listeners of the Transition Drill podcast, use the promo code TDP for 10% off throughout the entire time you work with Human Performance. So head over to hptrt.com and remember to use the promo code TDP, that's Tom David Paul, for 10% off your program. Long range group. Biohack yourself. You may have not heard this term before. Actually, I knew very little about it till I started kind of diving into this to present this tip. This isn't anything fancy. All you're doing is you're creating those habits in you right now that will propel your overall health and performance for the long haul. You ultimately want to think about being your best, both physically and mentally, and what does that entail? So you're looking to optimize all aspects of who you are as a person and who you are in your life. That's your nutrition. That's your fitness. That's your mind and your mental health, your sleep, the people that are around you, your social circle, all of these little things that have a bigger impact on the total you, or for you right now, because you've still got a career ahead of you, can have a big impact on your success or failure in your career. By dialing in yourself and making sure you're hitting all aspects, you're inherently leading others because you're showing leadership, which then from your organization's standpoint, they're going to lean on you to buy into or utilize that inherent leadership. So use this as a method of not just making yourself better, you're ultimately making your career better, you're making those around you better. So it has that ripple effect besides just yourself. None of this has to be done all at once. I would say rank things in order. If you're already used to going to the gym and you enjoy going to the gym, obviously just keep putting that normal effort to it. On the flip side, if you're, say, somebody who's not the best with your nutrition, or you don't get the right amount of sleep, or you're not really taking your mental health seriously, whatever's the one that gives you the most angst, that you're just like, man, I really don't want to do that, whatever it is, give that the most attention, but give it in the least amount of effort. And what I mean by that is, if it's something that you know you're going to struggle with, don't dig your heels in and say, man, I am just going to grit this out, because what will end up happening is you'll start resenting it. So do it a little bit and then back off. Hey, you know what? I don't get good sleep. All right. Instead of saying, I'm going to go to sleep every night at 8 o'clock. Well, that may not be feasible for you, may not be natural for you. Start slowly, one night a week. Maybe aim for 9, one night a week, aim for 8. but make it a slow process until the 9 o'clock becomes normal. I'm just using this as an example. Whatever it is in your life, if you're somebody whose nutrition isn't the best and you just can't give up pizza or whatever it is, I'm not saying give up pizza. Please don't give up pizza. But what I'm getting at is if you know there's a portion of your nutrition that you at least need to dial it in a little bit better, don't go so crazy on it that it becomes something that when you do give yourself a little break, you just go off the rails. It's got to be slow and gradual, but eventually over time, it becomes what is your norm. What you're ultimately, though, doing is you're creating a high performer, somebody who is dialed in all aspects of their life, which you then become better for yourself, for your family, for your organization. All of these things are going to be a natural byproduct of making yourself the best you can. With creating this commitment to your overall life that will eventually just become your norm, your next employer is going to want that. They're going to want people walking through the door who aren't a bag of rocks, okay, that are squared away, that have purpose and dedication in their life. Because inherently, if you bring purpose and dedication to yourself to that table, 99.9% of the time, that purpose and dedication is going to carry over into everything else that you do. Your job, your relationships, how you are as an employee will all be benefited by just creating small actionable steps that you can take now, focusing on making yourself the best you can. When you do get to your transition and it is time to go for that next job, whatever it's going to be, or anything that you want to do, know that by making these small changes now and making them habitual, you are going to be inherently better than your competition when it comes time for whatever you're going to apply to, because that purpose and dedication that you're starting to ingrain now and making your life mantra, so to speak, what is who you are, is going to carry over when you're going in for that next job, and you are going to likely be better than virtually anybody you're going to be going up against. So make small changes now, improve your overall health, not just necessarily saying, hey, I can run 3 miles or I can run 6 miles, whatever it is. Dial in everything about you. Dial in your mind. Dial in who you are on the inside as much as you are on the outside. So in wrapping this up, close range group, you need to mind map your ideal future. Get to where you want to get to after your transition by creating the roadmap that gives you the clearest path to how you need to achieve those goals. Medium range group, lean into your fitness. When you feel good, when you have pride in yourself, when you look in the mirror and are happy with what is looking back at you, you inherently are good. Lean into your fitness. Long range group, biohack yourself. Make small tweaks now that are going to lead to big improvements down the road. As always, thank you for listening or watching. I hope that you're finding these episodes informative. If there's anything that I can cover, anything that you would like me to answer, please reach out, give me a comment, send me an email. If you know somebody that would appreciate this podcast, please share it with them. If you're not currently following it, I ask, please follow it, leave a rating. All of those little things help the episodes get in front of more eyes. And until the next one, we might actually have multiple career transitions coming, but our health and wellness will always follow us forever.